3.
Hi, thanks again for volunteering to be one of our Torah facilitators in our Hevruta program. We are going to be looking in our Torah booklets, or you can find it on the website. And our Torah portion this week is Vayeira, which starts on page 14. Now remember, there are only 4 things you need to do to prepare for our Hevruta. You need to read the material. It's just 4 pages of material. You need to pick 2, 3, maybe 4 gems, 4 teachings out of this material that really speak to you, that you resonate with. You need to list maybe 3 questions based on each one of those teachings, and those questions will be springboards to encourage conversation with our circles of friends. And finally, think of 1 or 2 personal stories that you might be willing to share that connect to these teachings. Okay, so this week's Torah portion is Vayeira, and Vayeira is a crazy Torah portion. It has so much going on with it. It has Abraham being visited after his circumcision by 3 angels. It has the story of Sodom and Gomorrah. It has the birth of Isaac when Sarah is 90 years old, and it has even the sending away of Hagar and Ishmael, and also the Akedah, the same Torah portion that Sarah gives birth after longing for a child for so many decades. We also have God commanding Abraham to take Isaac up the mountain and offer him as a sacrifice. So a lot of things that you could focus on in this Torah portion. One suggestion is you could potentially talk about miracles. There are a lot of miracles. You could ask the kids, have they ever experienced a miracle? Maybe you've experienced a miracle. Sarah experiences a miracle. There's the story in Sodom and Gomorrah of Lot's wife when they're running away from the city as the fire and brimstone is coming down, and she turns back and turns into a pillar of salt. That's a really interesting thing to think about. Why did God turn her into a pillar of salt? What's wrong with looking back? Do you agree with that? What was going on in that story? When Sarah gives birth, they name their child Isaac, which in Hebrew, Yitzchak, means laughter. So this might be an opportunity to ask, what do your names mean? What is the importance of name? Why is Isaac named laughter? Does he lead a joyful life? So in the Gems of Torah section, we have the verse, I am but dust and ashes. That comes from this Torah portion when Abraham is arguing with God. And that's an interesting question. The rabbis say that we are supposed to have 2 notes in our pockets, and that's one of the texts here. One of the notes says, I am but dust and ashes, but in our other pocket it's supposed to say that the world was made for me. I'm a little less than the angels. So at what time in our life do we need to be humbled? And what times in our lives do we need to be lifted up high? Another thing is, will the judge of all the earth not judge justly? That's Abraham demands from God, why are you going to destroy these cities? What if there are some innocent people in these cities? And that's a question we ask a lot. We ask the question, why do bad things happen to good people? And it's so interesting that in Judaism we're allowed to wrestle with God. In fact, the word Israel means wrestle with God. So we're actually supposed to challenge God. Why are you doing this? Why is this happening? The Torah portion also talks about the shofar. It talks about the ram being caught in the thicket after Abraham is about to sacrifice Isaac. And when we blow the shofar, we're supposed to remember that ram. So if you are interested in shofars, you might ask the significance of the shofar. What are the things we need to wake up from? There's a saying that you can always wake up someone who's sleeping, but you can never wake up someone who's pretending to sleep. So what ways are we maybe pretending to sleep? In the Midah section, it talks about anger. That's a really big subject. How do you deal with anger? How do you deal with anger? How do each of the children deal with anger? When is it good to be angry? When should we be angry? We shouldn't always be complacent. One of the texts says, slowness to anger results in understanding. Impatience brings about folly. Rabbi Amy taught me recently that we're supposed to seek to understand others before we seek to be understood. That we're supposed to actually first try to learn the other side of the argument before presenting our argument. The rabbis also say, who is strong? One who controls oneself. So controlling one's anger is a really important thing, and that connects to this story with the Sodom and Gomorrah. It also have some interesting texts here saying there are 4 types of temperaments. People who are easy to anger but also easy to appease. To appease is to pacify, to make feel peaceful. Those people that's okay. It's bad that they're easy to anger, but it's good that you can please them. Hard to anger is good. Hard to appease is not so good. People who are easy to anger and hard to appease, that's the worst kind of person. People who are hard to anger and easy to appease, that's the best. That's what we hope to be. Abraham is known for his hospitality. This Torah portion is right before Thanksgiving, so this might be an opportunity to talk about hospitality. Who are the guests that you have at your Thanksgiving? Finally, one of my favorite stories, it says, once Rabbi Akiva Eger had guests at his table, and one of the guests spills wine and is really embarrassed. And so the rabbi spills his wine right away and says, the table must be crooked. So there's a wonderful collection, so much to talk about in this Torah portion. That's just a whip-fast tour of the Torah portion. And I'm so excited for you to teach our kids. Thank you.